Good morning students, welcome to your computer class. I am Sunny, your computer teacher. So students, today we will start off with a new chapter which is Adobe Photoshop CS6, and before we start, let's try to understand about the basic things about Photoshop. Now the first thing what I want to talk about is Thomas Knoll. Thomas Knoll is the person who was the person behind Photoshop. In 1987, he was the first person to develop a photo editing program which was called as Display, and it was introduced in 1987. So from then the journey for Photoshop was very long, and currently we have much more upgraded and better versions of Photoshop available today. So the person behind Photoshop is Thomas Knoll. Now students, let's try to understand how popular is Photoshop. Now see, here Photoshop is available in 25 languages. Can we sum up and say that when we say 25 language, can we also sum up and say 25 countries? The answer is no. We cannot sum up because majority of the Western countries speak English, right? So they communicate in English. So English is one language in which the Adobe Photoshop is available, but apart from that, there are other languages also. So most portion of the bigger part of the world is Photoshop has already covered it. So every country you would find some or the other person using Photoshop. So that's how popular Adobe Photoshop is. Now what is a Photoshop? See, in a very simple and plain language, Photoshop is a photo editing software. It is an application software which is used to edit photos. It allows us to create and modify and combine digital images. It is used to create magazine covers. It is used to beautify an image. It is used to manipulate an image. There are so many things in which, even the banners, the posters, in which Photoshop is used. So it is a very popular application software, and that is the reason we are using it here. Moving to the next slide. Now how to open a Photoshop? See, if you have Photoshop installed in your computer, now the first and foremost thing is not every system comes with the Photoshop program, right? So you will find some or the other program in which Photoshop is there. I mean some or the other system in which, but when you buy a standard system, you will not have Photoshop in it. You will need to buy, or you need to get Photoshop and install it in your computer, because it's not the part of the standard application software which comes with the system. Now if you have installed it in your system, then again there are different versions which are available in the market. There is Photoshop 6, then there is 9, and even 11, 12 are available now, which is the most latest version, but depends upon which one you have in your system. There are two ways in which if you can open Photoshop if you have installed it in your computer. The first method is you click on Start button, all programs, you will find the Adobe folder. So different versions will have different folder names. So first watch out for the word which says Adobe, and then you can find Design and Web Premium as it is given in your book, and for other versions you might some other thing mentioned there. Once you click on it, you will find an icon of Adobe Photoshop. You need to double click on it and the application will open up in your system. What is the second method? The second method is you click on Start All Programs. In the search field, the white search field, you type Photoshop, not Adobe Photoshop. The reason behind it is that if you have Adobe PDF, if you have Adobe other things installed in your Flash Player or Adobe Reader installed in your computer, then that will also come up in your list. But once you type Photoshop, only the Photoshop and its related file will populate the list, and it will become easier for you to open up the file. The second method is not given in your book, but normally we use this method also to open the Adobe Photoshop file. Now what are the components of Photoshop window? See, there are few components in which is being mentioned here. The first and foremost which comes here is the menu bar. Now what is the menu bar? It provides us with the comments. It provides us with the commands which helps us to perform certain tasks in Photoshop. menu bar is always populated with some or the other information there. The second one which comes is the option bar. It provides us option related to that tool. Now menu bar will have file, it will have save as, edit, design and other tabs there, and once you click on a particular tab and you select a particular tool, just below that there will be one more bar which is called as the option bar, which will gives us the information that what are the options available for this tool, and that is called as the context menu also. You can either call it as an option bar or you can call it as a context menu. Next one comes is the workspace. This is the main area where we carry out all our work. So it will contain the image which you will be working on. So it is also called as image window, document window, and few of them also call it as the drawing canvas area, depending upon it, but officially we call it as the workspace. Next comes is the tools panel. See, the tools panel is a kind of a toolbox which has got all the tools available which you may require at the point of working with any photo or any image. Now why it is important? This toolbox is very important because you would have seen, maybe when you go to a mechanic or if a technician visits your place to repair some electrical thing, he carries a bag with himself which has got all the tools in it. There is a simple reason behind it. If he carries all the tools with him in one particular bag, it will become easier for him or her, to carry out all the activities, right? If he is repairing any electrical fault, it will be easier because he's got all the tools. But if he doesn't carry all the tools in one particular place, let's take an example, if he carry 2 or 3 bags, it will be difficult for him to find the tools, work on it, it will be waste of time, it will be waste of effort, and at the end he will end up frustrating himself. So that is the reason this toolbox is considered helpful. Apart from tools panel, you can see there is something mentioned as the palette. Palettes, we will discuss about it later in our next class. So let's move further and let's watch a video of creating a new Photoshop file. How to create a new Photoshop file? Let's watch this video.
Create a new document within Photoshop. The first thing to do is go up to File and New, and then this is where we need to decide on its size of the overall kind of finish. So we can either give it its name straight away. In this case we're going to do 10 by 8 upright, and then the next part is going to come down to the width and obviously the size. So I'm just going to click into 8, which would be the width, and of course at this point I'm going to choose inches. But you can see here from all the drop down I can make a choice of either pixels, inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, pickers or columns. So I'm just going to go into inches, reset that to 8 of course, sorry, and then we're going to go into 10 for the height, and it's in the resolution is where probably you'll make some mistakes. For the kind of demonstration of this we're just going to select 300 pixels per inch. But depending on the laboratory and the output, this could be much less. For internet use and web and so on, it's usually between 72 and 100. If it's going out to specialized labs, at times it can be 240 pixels per inch. But as far as the demonstration is concerned, we're using this kind of standard 300 pixels per inch. As far as the color mode is concerned, if we're going to be usually putting out to a laboratory or using it for web and so on, we're usually going to be using the RGB color. Or if we're going out to a print other than photographic prints, in other words going out to postcards or something like that, you're going to be using CMYK color, which is a different kind of color mix. But in this case we're going to use RGB. And then the other thing is the choice of the bit, so in how much kind of depth of color and variety that we're actually going to have in here. And by default we usually have an 8-bit color. 16-bit and 32-bit are a much higher file size, but you'll have to convert them down to 8-bit if you're going out to print. So clicking into 8-bit. And then as far as the background is concerned here, we've got a choice whether it's white, background color or transparent. If it's white, of course, that speaks for itself. If it's the background color, it would select the background that is across here on the tools palette. Okay, so if that was a pink, it would now actually be pink if I chose background color, and transparent means there's basically nothing there. I'm going to select white for now. And then as far as the color profile is concerned, this is where you need to obviously choose which is the best for your work in RGB as far as for your laboratory, and please check up with those in advance. The Adobe 1998 here is pretty much the industry standard if we're going out to the likes of kind of color print and things really, whereas photograph print we tend to actually work in the bigger workspace, which is the sRGB. And that's pretty much us. So we can just press OK, and then straight away we have the document on the desktop, and from here we can actually kind of control everything.
So students, if you have seen the video, you can see how the step-by-step procedure was followed once you open the Adobe Photoshop. To create a file, there are certain settings which has to be done. You would have seen how the name was done, how the width and the height was changed, how the resolution was fixed, how the color mode, and how the background content, if in case if you want to make changes, you can do. So these things we will be doing it practically when we work on Photoshop. So let's move to our next topic, which is saving a file. Now once the Photoshop, whatever edit or whatever work that has to be carried out is completed, then the next thing we have to do is to save the file. Now how will we save the file? It's very simple. You click on File, you click on Save As, a Save As dialog box appears. You can change the name, provide a name, and click on Save. That's how you go ahead and save the file. So as regularly as how you save a Word file and an Excel file, it's the same way you also save the Adobe Photoshop file. Next is opening an existing file. Suppose that you want to open an existing file and you want to bring it in the workspace. Now how would you do that? For that you have to click on File, you have to click on Open menu. Then again the Open menu dialog box will appear. You select the file which you want to open and you click on OK. The moment you click on OK, you would see the photo getting displayed in the particular workspace area. So students, this brings us to the end of the class today. So our homework, we will be doing tick the correct option, which is number A. Number B, fill in the blanks, and we will be doing extra question 1. This question is not given in your book. This is an extra question, and this is the first extra question. It is name and explain the components of Adobe Photoshop. So students, every day before you start the video, before you go through it, please read the chapter, because it is very important for you to read the chapter so that all your doubts are cleared. So this is a long answer question. Please do it in your computer notebook, and if in case if you have any questions or any concerns, then feel free to reach me through the comment section. So thank you students, and have a great day.